All right, let's dive in. We're going to talk about the entire life story of one of the most important and, yeah, most expensive things in your house, your heating and cooling system.
Okay, let me ask you something right off the bat. Just think for a second about everything that's running in your house, day and night. What do you think is the single hardest working system under your roof?
If you're thinking it's your HVAC system, you absolutely nailed it. It's kinda the unsung hero of your home, right? And listen, getting to know its story from the day it's installed to the day it retires can literally save you thousands of dollars, seriously.
So let's start where it all begins. We're talking about your system's starting point, that big initial investment.
And just to put a number on it, a brand new HVAC system can set you back as much as $14,000, depending on where you are. I mean, that is a serious chunk of change, which is why it is so important to get it right from the get-go. Now, when you're shopping around, you're going to see a ton of confusing acronyms. Don't worry about all of them. Here are the only two you really need to care about. For cooling, you've got SEER. All you have to remember is higher number, better efficiency. For heating, it's AFUE. That's just a percentage of how much fuel actually turns into heat. See? Simple. Okay, here's a pro tip, and it's a big one. The brand name on the side of the unit, it doesn't matter nearly as much as getting the size perfect. A good technician has to do what's called a load calculation, because if the unit is too big, it's just going to waste a ton of energy. And if it's too small, it'll run all day long and you'll still never be comfortable. It's got to be just right, Goldilocks style. All right, so you've made that big purchase. Now we enter the longest part of your system's life. This is the maintenance mission, and it's all about one thing: making it last as long as humanly possible. You know, leaky ducts are maybe the biggest energy vampire in your entire house. Think about this. They can waste up to 30%. 30% of the air you're paying good money to heat or cool. It's just dumping it straight into your attic or crawl space. It is the definition of throwing money away.
So when you get an annual tune-up, what are they actually doing? Well, it's a whole lot more than just swapping out a filter. They're in there cleaning the really important parts like the coils, making sure the refrigerant levels are right, testing all the electrical bits to stop problems before they start, and oiling up the motors. It's basically a complete physical for your HVAC.
And the payoff for doing that? It's massive. Just look at this. A system you ignore might die on you in 10, maybe 12 years. But if you get that yearly maintenance, you could easily push it to 15, maybe even 20 years. You're almost doubling its life for a tiny yearly cost. It's a no-brainer. Okay, but let's be real. Even if you do everything right, stuff can still go wrong as your system gets older. Which brings us to our next chapter, the anatomy of a breakdown. We'll look at some of the most common issues you're likely to run into. You know that feeling, right? That moment of dread when you hear a weird clanking from the vents, or you get a strange smell the second the AC kicks on. So, what are those weird sounds and smells actually trying to tell you? Let's break down a few of the classics. See your indoor unit turning into a block of ice? That's almost always either low refrigerant or just a clogged, dirty filter choking off the airflow. Or how about this one? The outdoor unit is humming like it wants to start, but nothing happens. That's a textbook failed capacitor, which is usually a pretty easy fix. And if your system runs and just never shuts off, well, like we just talked about, that's a giant red flag that you probably have leaky ducts. And you have to remember, where you live plays a huge part in all this. If you're in a really humid place, your system is working overtime just to pull moisture out of the air. Shifting soil can literally bend and stress the refrigerant lines, and something as simple as a bunch of leaves falling on your outdoor unit can clog it up and kill its performance. Sooner or later, every single homeowner hits this wall. The tech hands you an estimate for a big repair, and you're faced with the ultimate question. So let's talk about it. How do you make that call? Do you repair it, or is it time to replace the whole thing? Well, there's actually a super helpful rule of thumb for this exact situation. It's called the $5,000 rule. It's just a simple guideline, but it's designed to take all the emotion and guesswork out of the decision and just give you a clear, numbers-based answer. Here's how easy it is. You take the cost of the repair, and you multiply it by the age of your system in years. So, for example, let's say you're looking at a $600 repair on a 10-year-old unit. You multiply those, and you get $6,000. Since that number is over $5,000, the rule says it's time to replace it. It's just simple math to help you stop throwing good money after a failing system. Of course, it's not just about the math. There are other huge red flags. Is your system over 15 years old? That's a big one. Are your energy bills just climbing higher and higher every single month? That's another. And hey, if you know your repair guy's name, his kids' names, and what he did last weekend, it's probably time to start shopping for a new system. Okay, one last thing, and please don't skip this part because it's absolutely critical and so many people overlook it. Let's talk about the rules of the road, why local codes and permits are such a big deal. I know. It's so easy to see permits and codes as just annoying red tape, but they're really not. They exist for one simple reason: to protect you. They protect your safety from a bad install job, they protect that massive investment you just made, and they protect your home's value when it comes time to sell. And the risks of trying to cut this corner, they're huge. No, seriously, doing work without a permit, that can completely void your manufacturer's warranty. If something awful happens, like a fire caused by bad wiring, your homeowner's insurance might just walk away and not cover a dime. And trust me, it will cause you a massive headache if you ever try to sell your house. Bottom line, always make sure your contractor pulls the right permits. So there you have it, your HVAC system. That thing is putting in over 2,000 hours of work every single year just to keep you and your family comfortable. So after everything we've talked about, maybe it's a good time to ask yourself, how's yours doing? Is it maybe time for a little check-in?